Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell and like this video. That helps me to keep making videos. I'd appreciate it majorly. So, I want to, continue to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case, in particular as it relates to what the president said yesterday when asked about, Jeffrey Epstein and his labor secretary, Alexander Acosta. It says, speaking to reporters on Tuesday, President Trump dismissed his past appearances with Epstein, describing him as a fixture in Palm Beach in those years. I had a falling out with him a long time ago, he added, though he declined to elaborate. I don't think I've spoken to him in 15 years. And then he went on to say, I'm not a fan, I can tell you that. He said that a couple times. And then he went on to talk about his Secretary of Labor, Alexander Acosta, and defended him more or less as doing a great job as the Secretary of Labor. So this is a super interesting article over at Vanity Fair. I'm going to basically just take a quick look at this and something over at the Daily Mail as well. What I'm asking is what I'm saying or asking is, I don't see how it's possible. I just do not see how it's possible that Trump could not have known that who he chose as to be his Secretary of Labor, Alexander Acosta, I don't see how he could not have known that he's the same U.S. attorney that approved the sweetheart, slap on the wrist plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein back in 2007 in Palm Beach, in the Southern District of Florida. I don't see how it's possible that he couldn't have been aware of that. And if that's the case, why in God's name would he, of all the people he could have chosen, why would he choose that individual to be his Secretary of Labor? Why? So let's just real quickly, I'm not going to read this entire article, although I encourage you to do so. It'll be linked in the description. It's the Vanity Fair. It's Emily Jane Fox. And it is talking about things that are as recent as 2015, I think February 2015, where Trump is meeting with David Pecker, the former chief executive of the National Enquirer, who has a long-standing sort of, I don't know if you'd call it a working relationship, but a relationship with Trump, that goes back years. I don't need to chronicle that. But in this meeting, they're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, David Pecker came over to Trump Tower, to meet with Trump, I think on the 26th floor, in person, and brought over a copy of a story that would be running soon, where the cover of the National Enquirer was with Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Edward or somebody. And obviously, not obviously, but the topic of Clinton came up. And what's discussed here is, but this is, what I'm getting at is this is 2015. This is prior to the election. This is actually prior to his appearance at CPAC, where he's basically mulling a run. He hasn't even announced his run for president. But it's so current. Okay, this is not 15 years ago, okay, that he, which is when he says the last time he talked to him. And then I'll take a look at something over at the Daily Mail real quickly. And again, I'm just asking, how is it possible that Trump didn't know that the U.S. attorney he nominated to be the labor secretary was the same U.S. attorney that approved the sweetheart slap on the wrist plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein? How is it possible he didn't know that? And I don't see how it is. I don't. So it says, he said, the title is, he said not to tell anyone how Trump kept tabs on Jeffrey Epstein. In the months before he ran for president, Donald Trump was in conversation with National Enquirer owner David Pecker about his old acquaintance Jeffrey Epstein and how his sexual abuse scandal might affect the Clintons. Trump said that Pecker had told him that the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse, recalls a former Trump Organization employee who is Sam Nunberg, who spoke with this reporter. She also spoke with Michael Cohen from prison. I don't know exactly at what point, at what time, but he's only been in prison for so long, so it's obviously recent. And let me just sort of fast forward to here. It says Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, who would later go to prison in part for his role in these hush money schemes, talking about the catch and kill thing, was in the room when Pecker sat down. Pecker, he later told me, used to send him articles and issues before they were published so that he and Trump could read them. This time he came over in person, though. After the meeting, Trump called in Sam Nunberg, then a Trump Organization employee, who saw Pecker leaving Trump's office. Michael was sitting in there when I came in, and the issue of the National Enquirer with the picture of Prince Andrew was on his desk, Nunberg recalled. He said not to tell anyone, but that Pecker had just been there, and he brought the issue with him. Trump said that Pecker had told him the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse. Cohen, speaking by phone from the Federal Corrections Institution in Otisville, corroborated Nunberg's version of the events, though he declined to add any additional information about the meeting. During the meeting with Pecker, Trump went on about how Epstein was known for his behavior, according to a person familiar with the conversation. Trump, after all, used to be friendly with Epstein. He had at least an inkling about his sexual predilections. In 2002 interview in New York Magazine, he called Epstein a terrific guy who was a lot of fun to be with. He added, it is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. That's what he was asked about yesterday. Do you still think he's a terrific guy? That's from 2002, and that's pretty insignificant, I think, that statement, but whatever. The point is that this is 2015, that he's having an in-person meeting with David Pecker, his longtime associate, who's bringing over information about Epstein and the Clintons. And that, that Pecker told him, Trump, that the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse. 2015. And that's right before he appeared on CPAC with Sean Hannity. He was actually asked about Bill Clinton, and he sort of referenced this in a way. Trump had been following the story closely in the week or so leading up to his CPAC speech. David Pecker owned the Enquirer until it was sold and ruined. Earlier this year, visited Trump on the 26th floor of Trump Tower, bringing along an issue with a Prince Andrew and Epstein related cover. So, and when he was with Sean Hannity, he was asked about, in a lightning round, Trump, then flirting with a presidential run, was fielding softballs from Fox News host Sean Hannity when a lightning round of questions turned to a favorite topic, Bill Clinton. He said, nice guy, Trump said. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein, he added, seemingly veering off topic. Lot of problems. Got a lot of problems coming up. This is CPAC. Before he's announced his run for presidency, sort of mulling his run for presidency, but after he met with David Pecker, 2015. And again, I'm just asking, how is it possible that Trump wasn't aware of the sweetheart slap on the wrist plea deal that was given to Epstein by the former U.S. attorney in the Southern District of Florida, who he would nominate to be his labor secretary? How is it possible he's not aware of that? This is a different article at the Daily Mail, okay, talking about how one of the attorneys representing some of the victims, I believe in Florida, and I believe this is around 2011, that's one of the filings, wanted to depose Trump, okay? It says, an ongoing lawsuit between Epstein and Bradley Edwards, who represented multiple underage victims in their civil suits against the and this lawsuit is still ongoing. It's been ongoing for 10 years. So the filing is from 2011, so I assume it's dates back to 2009. 2019 to 2009 would be 10 years. So again, on an ongoing lawsuit between Epstein and Bradley Edwards, who represented multiple underage victims in their civil suits against the convicted pedophile, reveals that President Trump banned Epstein from his private club in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago. The reason for that, according to the filing, was that Epstein had sexually assaulted an underage girl at the club. The same filing also claimed that Epstein and his girlfriend turned platonic companion, Ghislaine Maxwell, used the club as a hunting ground for new girls. President Trump finally commented on Epstein's arrest Tuesday afternoon while speaking to the media at the White House, saying, "I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you." He went on to refer Epstein as a fixture in Palm Beach. Here's the one of the court filings dated, what's that? April, January, February, March, April 8th, 2011. Trump allegedly banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago club, from his Mar-a-Lago club in West Palm Beach because Epstein sexually assaulted an underage girl at the club. Jane Doe number 102's complaint alleged that Jane Doe 102 was initially approached at Trump Mar-a-Lago by Ghislaine Maxwell and recruited to be Maxwell and Epstein's underage sex slave. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, testified that Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane with him, the same plane that Jane Doe 102 alleged was used to have, etc. These revelations came out in a bid by Edwards to depose Trump in the case. In addition to the ban from Mar-a-Lago and his recruitment of a minor female from the club, there were a number of other ties linking Epstein to President Trump outlined in the filing. They included Epstein's brother Mark testifying under oath that Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane with him, the fact that President Trump had been to Epstein's home in Palm Beach, and the fact that Epstein's phone directory from his computer contained 14 numbers for Donald Trump, including emergency numbers, car numbers, and numbers to Trump's security guard and houseman. Edwards wrote that based on this, he was of the belief that Trump might have relevant information to provide in the cases against Jeffrey Epstein. In the end, President Trump was not deposed, and the recent arrest of Epstein will likely further delay this trial, which has spent 10 years in the making, 10 years making it through the courts. Again, I'm only asking, how is it possible that given these things, this lawsuit by Bradley Edwards, one of the attorneys representing some of the victims, of Jeffrey Epstein, that is to the present date, that wished to depose Trump. Okay, that means they must have had communication with Trump, and he was never deposed, so he resisted it, I would assume. He wanted to depose him. And this is, this filing's from 2011. Here he is meeting with David Pecker in 2015, and David Pecker is telling him that, Trump said that Pecker had told him the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from his island were worse. 2015. How is it possible that he is, unaware that the person he named to be his labor secretary is also the same U.S. attorney that approved the sweetheart slap on the wrist plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein back in 2007? That's at the heart of this entire thing. How is that possible? I don't see how it is. I don't. And that's the story there, man. That is the story there. All right, well, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.